Good evening. It's just after market, 9:08, which is 4:08 Eastern Time, and I'm just going to recap my trading for today on the 12th of September 2023. So, in the pre-market today, in the live pre-market, I identified some levels on the market. We were watching this area here, watching this area here, 45.25. And we're watching this area here. In fact, even had this level set up as well, and as you can see, every single every single level was spot on. My actual trades today, I got a bit chopped around at the beginning of the day. I didn't go short because I wanted to go long. I was waiting for a break and retest long at this level, but I did go long here for a small profit, and I took one contract off, and then I stopped out on the remainder as it broke down through that low, which would have been the low of the day. I think I got out there, and I tried another long here as well for a double bottom, and it didn't quite get to my first target. It came back out and it stopped me out. So I started the day on a negative foot, but then I had this level I was keeping an eye on as well, and it's a higher probability bounce, but with confirmation. And I didn't play it too well, but what I did keep an eye on was the volume. I saw this volume bar come in, which was signifying potential end in volume, and so that's like the first confirmation I'm looking for. Coming into this area is a second confirmation, and that's an area previously identified from the hourly chart. And then I saw the double topping tails as well, these candles, and that's another confirmation. So what I did is I preempted the trade a little bit. I'll admit I got in a bit too early. I saw this double bottom tail, and I got in a couple of contracts here, and then obviously it pulled back down, so I held because I knew I was watching this area. My stop was always going to be around about this area. I never stop on the actual areas I say, but I give it a bit of a buffer. And I'll be honest, it got a bit hairy because it came back down to the area. So I added on the low, I added there. So I was up, I think that was 8. It was 6 contracts at that point. And then I saw this double bottom, and that's what did it. So I on the first tail, and then on the second tail, I got 2 contracts there, and 2 as it broke out over. So I had 10 contracts in total. And the reason I went in a little bit heavier, I had a very tight stop, and I had a few stops set up in here as well. So I wouldn't have had a full stop, but I wanted to deal with fifths today, and because that's how my trading plan works in fifths, so or quarters as well. So fifths is what I'm working towards. And over the last couple of weeks, I've only been buying 1 or 2 contracts, but it's left me with not much flexibility on getting out. It's an all or nothing trade if I buy 1 contract. If I buy a contract here, where do I get out? It's easy to say, oh, you get out up here, but when it pulls back, do I get out there? Do I get out on the first red bar? But if I've got multiple contracts, say I've got 5 contracts, I can get out the first bit of profit there, and then I can start using meaningful areas for getting out. For example, break of this like control bar, and then the break of or the bottoms of that area there, and a level I've identified, and then the 200 moving average, and then another level identified. And that's kind of what I did today. So I went in a bit heavier. I wouldn't say heavier, because that's my goal has always been to scale up to 2 to 5 different positions, all of 2 contracts each. But I was keeping a tight stop, so I wouldn't have stopped out a full stop anyway. So I came in. So as I had to, what time is it? Midday. So I had to leave at midday. I decided to go to archery, and I had a meeting an hour later as well. And because I was already up and it was a free trade at this point, so I moved all my stops to a minimum break even. I set up some OCO orders. So I had it was five different OCO orders. So the first one was break even, which is around here. No, the first one was just below break even, the low of the day, and the stop was here. Let's just delete these lines. And then the next order would have been at break even. Let's draw it in. and another OCO order there, break even with a target of the 50 moving average, and then the next one was a better than break even with a target the break of VWAP. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then no, in fact that wasn't that one, that was this order. So if I go for that one, the next OCO order was better than break even, and it was this area here, and I think it was, I remember when I looked at it, it literally just touched there, so it would have been just there. So that's my OCO order there and there. And I had one more OCO order which I didn't handle very well, and that was break even, and it would have been my runner. That's the one I wanted, and I actually had it set to just below here. It was just there, set for there. And when I checked my orders here, I noticed that all the orders are triggered, and there's no more orders left apart from this one break even down here. And I was just about here at the time. It was coming back down, and I thought, you know what, this is a big amount of profit I don't want to give away, that big move up. And so I put my stop just on the VWAP, and obviously it took me out of the VWAP, and then it reversed. But it's fine, you know, I got the meat of the move, and that's the bit I was really interested. This is the move I went for, and it ended up with a really profitable day. Like I said, the only reason I went a bit heavy on this was because there's a few things all setting up. You know, we had ending volume, declining volume as well. We had bottom tails, and we had confirmation of a reversal, and we was in an area of interest, and I've already identified. I've been in that area. I've been watching this area for a few days, and I was watching Bookmap as well at the time, and we had loads and loads of potential buyers around this area. But I noticed in Bookmap there was loads of sellers up here as well, and generally, always in red, so I drew it in red, buyers and sellers, and generally once these start coming out, the market moves towards where the next area of liquidity is, and most of the liquidity was up here, and you can see, look, that's exactly what happened. So Bookmap shows you those red lines to show lots and lots of sellers or buyers that's down here, and so I wasn't too worried, and so I just left. That's why I left the OCO orders, and I went off. And in fact, we talked about FOMO, and there's a new term called JOMO, which is not the fear of missing out, the joy of missing out. And I made a conscious decision today to go to archery, and no matter what's going on, set some OCO orders up. And so while my computer's working hard on my OCOs, making profit for me, I was out shooting some arrows, enjoying the lovely British summer, which has finally come. And it'll probably only be here for another few days. So I was making the most of it, and I felt good for it. Although I missed out on this big run up, and I probably would have gone short up here as well, and I missed this big run down. I don't have any fear. Obviously, and profit wise, I did okay today, so I'm not too fussed about missing all of this. I'm trying to get out of the mindset of having FOMO, swapping FOMO for JOMO, and that's exactly what I did today. So I'm glad I did it. I went out and I actually enjoyed myself and didn't even think about it. I checked the market a few times. That's why I stupidly checked it and remoted in and just moved my order up to there. But had I left it, I would have got that target there instead. But it doesn't matter. So good day overall. I did take one more trade, and that was oil. And that oil was coming up into this, looking for a double top, and I preempted it, and I should have waited for confirmation. I should have seen the tail, and I should have seen a candle and got in on the break of the candle, but I got in on that red candle there, and immediately it came in and stopped me out. My stop was the high of the day, but I got back in again when I saw this candle, and I broke that candle, so I got in. I took some profit down here, and it came back out, and my stop was better than break even, so I did okay. So overall, a really good day trading. Maybe over traded a bit on the MES, where I was just taking these. I got chopped up a little tiny bit around here, but you know, I handled it okay. And the fact that I set up my OCOs and I walked away and just let the market do what it does, and whether it would have stopped me out at break even or not, I didn't care. I was out. So good day. Hopefully you also had a good day, and I will speak to some of you soon. Thanks for watching.